When I look back upon the course of my life, there is one truth that shines brighter than any other: the power of lifelong learning. I was born poor, with no formal education beyond the simplest schooling. Yet by the time I left this world, I had seen industries transformed, fortunes created, and knowledge spread across nations. None of this came to me by inheritance or privilege. It came because I made learning my constant companion. I was not born to wealth. My father, a weaver by trade, struggled as the old looms of Scotland fell silent. When we came to America, we carried little more than hope and determination. In Pittsburgh, I began as a bobbin boy in a cotton factory, working long hours for a meager wage. No one would have looked at me then and imagined an industrial empire waiting in the future. And yet, within me was a hunger that no poverty could extinguish, the hunger for knowledge. Each day, after hours of toil in the heat and noise of the factory, I sought a different kind of labor. I borrowed books wherever I could find them. The kind librarian, Colonel James Anderson, opened his collection on Saturday afternoons for working boys like me. To us, it was as though the doors of a palace had swung wide. There, among those shelves, I discovered worlds far greater than the mill or the telegraph office: history, poetry, science, philosophy. Each page turned was another step out of ignorance and into possibility. It may surprise some to hear this, but it was not steel alone that made me wealthy. Nor was it railroads, nor even the markets of commerce. It was knowledge, knowledge of men, of ideas, of principles. Knowledge is the great lever that raises us from obscurity, and knowledge is available to all who will humble themselves to learn, whether from a book, a mentor, or the school of experience. I remember nights by the dim light of a candle, straining my eyes over a borrowed volume while others slept. Many would have said it was foolish to study after 13 hours of labor, but to me, it was life itself. Each fact, each story, each principle gained was a weapon against poverty, a tool for advancement, a key to unlock doors that otherwise remained closed. Do not suppose that I was unique in this. The history of every successful man is the history of one who learned ceaselessly. Those who stop learning, who imagine they already know enough, are already in decline. It is the curious mind, the eager student, who rises above his station. When I was a telegraph operator, my learning took on a new form. I resolved to master the instrument so thoroughly that I could recognize messages by ear rather than by sight. I practiced, trained my senses, and became so skilled that I could handle several lines at once. This brought me into notice, and new opportunities soon followed. Was this mere talent? Number. It was deliberate learning, built by discipline. There is no fortune so secure that it cannot be lost through ignorance, and there is no poverty so deep that it cannot be raised through knowledge. I have seen poor boys surpass wealthy heirs because they cultivated their minds. And I have seen great fortunes squandered by men who thought they had nothing more to learn. I say to you now, whether you are young or old, whether rich or poor, never cease to learn. Make every day a lesson. Read not only for pleasure, but for growth. Seek out mentors. Observe the successful and ask why they prosper. Study the failures and ask why they fell. The world is a school, and life is a teacher that never rests. You may wonder why I placed so much of my wealth into libraries. Some questioned me, saying, "Why not leave great sums to universities?" But I remembered myself as a poor boy, too young to enter a university, too poor to pay tuition. What I needed then was not a grand institution, but a book in my hands. I knew there were thousands, tens of thousands, like me, and so I determined that every community should have its library, free to all, where any hungry mind might be fed. That, I believed, was the noblest use of wealth. Knowledge is not merely power. Knowledge is freedom. It frees the mind from ignorance, the worker from drudgery, the poor from hopelessness. When a man or woman learns, they acquire the ability to rise above circumstance. That is why I urge you, do not wait for others to educate you. Do not imagine that only schools or colleges can make you wise. If you have a book, you have a teacher. If you have curiosity, you have a path. I recall with gratitude the many books that shaped my thoughts. Shakespeare taught me the beauty of language. Burns reminded me of the dignity of the common man. Franklin showed me the value of thrift and industry. Carlyle stirred me with his philosophy. Each of these authors became companions, mentors even, though I never met them in the flesh. You too may invite such giants into your life simply by opening their works. Now, let me make this clear. Learning is not merely for the sake of knowledge itself. Learning must lead to action, to improvement, to service. The man who reads but never applies is like a miser hoarding coins. But the man who learns and then acts enriches not only himself, but the whole world. Some may say, "But Mr. Carnegie, I have little time. My work is long, my strength is small." To this I reply, so it was with me. And yet even a single page read each day is progress. 10 minutes of study is a seed. Over years, those seeds grow into forests of wisdom. Do not despise small beginnings. Others may say, "But books are costly." My answer is this. In our age, books are cheaper than ever, and knowledge flows more freely than gold. Even in my day, a boy with determination could find access to a library. Today, there is no excuse, for knowledge is abundant. The true cost is not money, but effort. Still others may complain, "I am too old to learn." To them I say, you are not too old to live, therefore you are not too old to learn. I have seen men in their later years master new skills, explore new subjects, and open new worlds of understanding. Learning is not confined to youth. It is the privilege of every age. Let me tell you something else. Learning not only enriches the mind, it disciplines the character. A man who learns patience from study will show patience in business. A woman who learns perseverance in solving problems will show perseverance in her career. Knowledge shapes habits, and habits shape destiny. I have often been credited with foresight in business, with seeing opportunities others missed. The truth is simpler. My foresight came from study, from observing trends, from reading widely, from never ceasing to ask questions. Where others saw only smoke, I saw the future of steel. But I saw it because I had trained myself to look deeper, to understand the forces of industry and progress. That training came not from fortune, but from learning. I must emphasize again, the wealth I accumulated was secondary. The true treasure was the knowledge I gained along the way. Money can be lost, industries can decline, but knowledge, once possessed, can never be taken away. And what is more, knowledge grows the more you share it. Unlike gold, which diminishes when divided, knowledge multiplies. The more you teach, the more you learn. The more you give, the richer you become. This is why I say that every man and woman should be both a student and a teacher. Learn eagerly and share freely. In this way, society advances together. So, my friends, resolve this very day that you will be a lifelong learner. Do not let the factory whistle, or the office clock, or the hardships of life steal from you the joy of study. Carry a book with you. Seize odd moments to think, to question, to read. Treat every experience as a lesson. And never imagine that you have arrived at complete knowledge, for the wisest men are those who know they have much to learn. If I, a poor Scottish boy with nothing but a hunger for knowledge, could rise to build an industrial empire, then you too can rise. Your fortune may not be steel or railroads, but it may be health, influence, invention, or service. Whatever your calling, it will be lifted by the wings of learning. In the end, wealth and power fade. But the mind that has been trained, the character that has been shaped by study, endures. This is the legacy of lifelong learning. Therefore, let us be forever students. Let us be seekers until our final breath. For the mind, like the body, grows weak if not exercised, but grows strong if used each day. Make learning your lifelong pursuit, and you will never be poor, never be idle, never be without hope. This is the secret I give you. Knowledge is the ladder by which I climbed, and it is the ladder by which you too may ascend. Climb it faithfully, step by step, and you will find heights you never dreamed possible.